Okay, so you know who I am, you know what I do. I've called this obscure WordPress functions that are actually quite useful. Obscure, really? Well, this is for mild developers like myself, not the deep level developers, and some of you may know about these already, but if there's anything new here, then obviously I offer it as a bit just something that might be useful. So, I'm going to talk about functions. The first one's an easy one, WP Auto P. Now, that adds in line breaks and paragraphs, and when your blog or your page content is put onto the screen, this gets run automatically to interpret any sort of line break characters that are in your content area into breaks and paragraphs. Now, that happens automatically, that's fine, but it's also, if you've got custom fields that are where you've got text areas, or whether you're using that in the edit window or whether you're receiving some input from a form that you've created that's got a text area in it, you can call this and it will actually then do the formatting for you. Sometimes it goes too far. It adds in empty paragraphs, or worse still, some of your div elements can get wrapped in paragraphs. This happens a lot when you're using shortcodes. I've used shortcodes for some clients because they quite like it, and they sort of drop bits of functionality into the page just by using a shortcode. And sometimes if you've got a container, it can get wrapped in paragraphs, and it messes the whole thing up. Now it's down to the order that WP Auto P gets called when WordPress is actually going through the process of building the page for the screen. So here's a way of getting around it. I don't pretend to know exactly how this works, but I googled it and it works for me. And all the problems I had with shortcodes and empty paragraphs disappeared once I started doing this. But basically, what you're doing is you're moving the calling of WP Auto P back and pulling in this little function that helps to get rid of stuff. And then, yeah, it works. Okay, since we're talking about shortcodes, a quick one. I'm sure most people know this one. If you want to run shortcodes in your widgets, then you need to put that in your functions PHP. And also, sometimes you might want to strip out shortcodes from something if they're in there, and you can do that with that function. Your excerpts for your posts, the default length is 55 words. I had a situation where that was too long for what I wanted really, so you can change it, and there's a filter call for that, and so you can set whatever number you want there, and it's 30 there, you can put it to whatever you like. I'll put these slides online, I haven't got to write it all down. Right, okay, localizing dates. Now, I'm just working on a site where I need to do a Welsh version of a site, and it's been quite an experience about doing translations and stuff like that, and I'll have more to say to that in a few weeks' time. But localizing dates caused a bit of an issue. Now, your post and your page dates automatically get localized when you run WordPress in Welsh, which is one of the supported languages, or whatever other language you want to run it in, that's fine. But what if you're setting dates in PHP, date formats in PHP? And the sort of thing that I was getting involved in is I had some custom fields, which was like, I was storing some events, and it was like start dates and end dates, and I was storing stuff in the database in that format, which is very useful for sorting and filtering when you're doing your own custom queries. And then the example is I may need to output that, which is Welsh for the 25th of February 2016. You can set in the locale in PHP, but it's actually a bit of a pain in the arse to do that, and it seems to be overkill to do that just for the sorting out the dates. And so you can use this functionality, this function, date I18n, and you feed it the pattern, which is the PHP pattern that you want to use, as per the various codes there, and then timestamp whatever you want to translate. And the last slide that I've got is this one, where I've created a function that I now use for this. So you're feeding it a string that's in that format and the pattern, or not, as the case may be. If you do specify a pattern, the function uses it, but otherwise, and there's another WordPress function there which is quite useful, it will go and get whatever your date format is that you've set in your general settings and use that instead. And then you create your timestamp by actually pulling the string apart and making it into a time value, and then you actually call the function and it takes your timestamp and creates it, and so the Welsh for 25th of February 2016 comes out, no trouble at all. And there you go.